Oops.
Oh.
Good, beautiful Wednesday noon here in Manila. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hey, Adam G, your online Queenspirational talk show. Today, I have a very special guest. Yep. You know what? For me, she is truly the living embodiment of that classic Walt Disney quote. Yung all our dreams can come true if we really have the courage to pursue it, as she realizes her dream of finally wearing our Philippine sash in the international stage. I mean, who could ever forget her as Miss Muntinlupa in the inaugural Miss Universe Philippines 2 years ago? And now she's back, wiser, bolder, fiercer, and sexier this time around. So without further ado, here she is live all the way from Washington, USA. Please say hello to Miss Mesoamerica Philippines, Maricres Castro. Hi, Maricres.
Hi po. Thank you so much for having me, Adam. It's an honor to be here. Maraming salamat po. And hello to all our kababayan dun sa Pilipinas and sa buong mundo. Thank you for tuning in.
Hi, finally, natuloy na rin. Our schedules finally met para mag-post
Yes.
ng interview. I've been trying to interview you since last year for your other. So finally, puti na lang talaga. And I think it's a better time to do this interview as you're competing in a very, very special pageant wherein you'll finally be able to realize your dream of finally representing us in the international stage. So how do you feel about it, Maricres?
It's a dream come true po, really. Like, sobrang nakaka-touched ako when Sir Bessie reached out to me about if I was interested. And ako po, I was like, yes! Like, in my heart, like, but it took a minute to process and to really, pray and think about, like, wow, leaving in less than a month for El Salvador and, like, figuring out my schedule with my work and everything. And so, naku po, it really is destiny because everything lined up. Travel plans, my work schedule is very lenient, and they're allowing me to go pursue my dreams in this international pageant pool. So I'm grateful to God for this opportunity and to everyone who's believed in me along this journey. Thank you.
I'm so happy for you. Finally, diba? Who would you would finally to realize your dream of finally competing in the international stage. Before we proceed, can we give a shout out to Mars France who is watching
Mars
us
France.
right now? Ang dami niyong comments here. Ito na, Maricres Valdez Castro. Yeah. Yahoo! Go get that crown, Mars. One of the sweetest persons I know.
Super. Oh my gosh, sobrang mabait niya. Thank you so much po for your support too. Hope to be interviewed by you too.
Oo, Mars, interviewin mo din siya soon before she leaves for El Salvador. So, yun. Curious lang ako, paano ka na-appoint for the title? Kasi you mentioned kanina a little about it. So, paano yun? Parang how did it fall into your lap?
Super serendipitous. It's like I didn't expect it talaga po kasi I was already booked to walk New York Fashion Week this year for Layla Rose Couture in New York, and I noticed in the lineup after my lineup was Bessie. And nakakakilala siya because I met him while I was competing in Miss Universe Philippines, and he was one of the designers for one of my fellow candidates, and yeah, we got to chatting. So I definitely had a soft spot and a good memory with him, and I reached out to him to say like, hey, I'll be there, like maybe we could meet up, maybe I could walk for you too. And he already had his lineup, but he presented me with this opportunity saying, hey, you're here, nandito ka na sa States. Like, we're looking for someone to compete in Miss Mesoamerica Pilipinas because our candidate had to back out, unfortunately. And I love Alexa. I actually reached out to her and followed her on Instagram, and she wished me the best of luck. So super love kita. Like, yeah, it was really it's really one in a million. I did not expect this at all po. So
So is it a classic case of happening to be at the right place at the right time? Imagine kung hindi ka nag-New York
super.
Fashion Week. I
Yeah.
mean, what are the odds na makakasalubong mo si Bessie?
Yeah, and from that connection from Miss Universe Philippines that we would meet, he wasn't even my designer. We just met and, became acquainted, became friends, and followed each other on Instagram. And I saw his name in the lineup for the New York Fashion Week show I was in, and saw that he was after mine. And that's why I wanted to say hi, because out of all the places in the world, we met in the Philippines and we're meeting again in New York City. Wow. And, he was like, "You look great. Do you want to compete?" And yeah, and it's my heart full. I was like, "Really?" Ako?
Feeling ko, oo. Feeling ko ready ka na. Feeling ko
Oh,
ready ka na kahit bukas pa yung flight. Kasi you've been competing all your life, right? So, yeah. Pero you know what? I want to ask you more about the pageant kasi it's my first time, to be honest, it's my first time to hear about Miss Mesoamerica. Can you tell us more about what the pageant is all about in terms of its trust, vision, or even
mm,
advocacy?
absolutely. So Miss Mesoamerica International is what it means. It's an international pageant trying to bring forth, the Latina, the kind of cultura that we have as people who are influenced by Spain. And so that's why I feel like the Philippines is poised to be a perfect candidate for this title, because we are really the only country in Asia that was successfully colonized by Spain, and we see it in our language. In my post about our official headshots that they announced me in, I said "Viva la República Filipina," which was written on the wall by Emilio Aguinaldo in the Philippines. Long live the Republic of the Philippines. I think it's going to be an incredible moment for the Philippines to make a comeback to this stage, and as well as on the 30th anniversary. So that advocacy of really, bringing together the culture of togetherness, our history, our heritage, and understanding and friendship. I'm excited po.
So para siyang Reyna Hispano-Americana pala.
Similar po, yes.
Pero na-realize mo ba yung weight ng what ng situation mo right now, considering you are the first Filipina representative for this pageant in its how many years of existence ba?
30
So
years.
30 years. So does that add much pressure to you right now?
Siyempre po, I feel it. And it's more of like a fire po. It's more of an encouragement to really train and to do my best to make us proud, to make our people proud. Well, because we love pageantry, we find a lot of hope and encouragement, entertainment, and joy in it. And I want to show up for the Philippines, and I want everyone there throughout this international community to see us and to feel that the Philippines is there.
Yeah.
Nandyan na tayo.
Sabi ni Mars France nga, sa'yo talaga to. Sa'yo talaga to. Para you're meant for this title. You're meant for
Thank
this
you.
title. Everything happens for a reason, he says. Kaya i-claim na natin yan na, di ba? Alam mo, may ano yun ha? May, malaking bagay yun ha. Usually pag yung mga inaugural candidates na pinapadala sa mga bagong pageants, usually nagpe-place. Or if not, hindi lang nagpe-place, nakukuha mismo yung title. Hindi mo napansin? So parang, sana magtuloy-tuloy yung streak sa'yo, di ba? Who knows, di
Try
ba?
pa lang. I want to give it my all and make you proud.
So anong game plan mo ngayon? Paano ka makikipagbardagulan sa mga Latinas?
Oh,
Siyempre.
okay. Well, my game plan is really poised to really be my most authentic self as a proud Filipina. there. I'm even going to be wearing fabrics made hand woven in the Philippines, designed by Filipinos, Filipino Americans, and even Filipinos back home. So this is by Seychelles Silviana Couture. She's an eco brand design that sustainably sources her clothing products from the Philippines and designs them here. And oh my gosh, that was my headshot for Miss Mesoamerica International, shot by my team in Parañaque. So much love
Oh!
to the designers of that outfit. So Nel Claveria Couture and Jason Kwaki. And the people who did my makeup, Maria Gabriela did my hair from Parañaque, and Alex Aguilar Dolan did my makeup, and Sir Ray Val did that photo. So super excited ako po to be meeting up also with an all-Filipino team in LA next week. So before I fly out to El Salvador, we'll be doing, pasabog, like a lot of photo shoots in LA. So even Bessie, beloved Bessie, international designer Bessie, who reached out to me for this opportunity after we connected at New York Fashion Week, is flying down from New York to LA. So to help with my training. So I fly out to LA next week, Tuesday, March 8th, and we'll be there until flying out to El Salvador on the 13th. So
Oh, ang daming tumutulong sa'yo. Para ka lang din nandito pala sa Manila.
yeah, I
Ambag-ambag
know,
sila sa
right?
sa preparasyon mo. 'Di ba?
Yeah, feeling ko yun. Kasi it's really like Filipinos, we are everywhere and we are present in the community, the pageant scene. Grabe naman po, especially in LA, like in California. There are over 4 million Filipinos alone in Cali. So I'm excited to be welcome there and to connect with artists, creatives, and just, come together to do this for the Philippines. So, laban!
So with that, ready ka na makipagbakbakan at showdown sa mga Latinas in terms of rampahan, paanuhan, paelbohan sa catwalk, 'di ba?
Opo. I so much great training from Kagandahan Flores. Tito Raj has also been connecting with me, so thank you, Tito Raj. And I'm so
Online.
grateful online. So love naman kita, love naman nila. And quick fun fact is my boyfriend's also competing for a pageant and is also training with Tito Raj too. So I'm excited for him to.
Sino?
For he's running for Mr. Supranational USA. He's been my Mr. Washington for a while, but he's now everyone's Mr. Washington Supranational, Sergey Boldesco. And yeah.
Is he Filipino?
He's not. He's actually
Oo nga pala,
immigrant.
Mr. Supranational USA nga pala.
No, it's okay. It's okay kasi he immigrated. It's also like we were talking about this a while ago too, like how it's really destiny because he won a lottery to get a green card to the United States. Like he left his home, his family in the pursuit of his American dream, and we met runway modeling a couple of times. And yeah, he told me he was from Tacoma. He actually taught me how to drive, so naalam ko na. So
I hope to meet him soon.
Yeah, and
I hope
he's
to meet him soon.
And I just want to shout out to his family in Moldova who are accepting refugees from Ukraine po. Just thank you for your heart, and we're praying for your safety and everyone over there for peace. It is really heartbreaking what's happening, and humanitarian aid. Yeah.
Let's talk more about it later. So, si Mars France may tanong ulit, may live ba ang pageant night?
I believe yes po kasi it was live on their YouTube page, so Mesoamerica International. I found their recordings of last year's pageant. Also, thank you to Tita Norman who sent it to me so I can prepare. He's like, did you watch this yet? Yes po.
Alam mo, as I observe you right now, you're more confident, more bubbly. Dati you've never been this animated nung MUP, or probably it's because of the pandemic we didn't get that privileged to, hang out or interact with one another because of what happened. So,
Mm.
do you think your previous pageant experiences here in the Philippines help you prepare
Oh
for
yeah.
this?
Oh yeah. In the Bible it says is iron sharpens iron, so must one man sharpen another. And I feel like all of my fellow sister queens there have helped me prepare for this pageant, this moment right now. Who I am right now is because of all of you and the friendships and the camaraderie and the competition that we went through together has sharpened me into who I am today. Grabe po. Like, no better training ground than in the Philippines for me. And alongside some incredible women po. And it teaches you so much about growth, the opportunity to serve together, and past pageants po, like being able to maintain those friendships and still do amazing work together. It's an amazing network. It's an amazing network.
True.
Yeah.
May additional question ulit si Mars France. Are you studying Spanish
Ay,
for the
syempre naman
pageant?
po. Yes, yes.
Can
And
you say, can you
um,
speak na a little? At
yes,
least conversational.
of course, of course. Ay, me llamo Maricres Castro. Soy representar República de Pilipinas.
Oh,
Sí.
so Naks ha, talagang
Ah,
sinerseryoso mo talaga ha, para
syempre po.
paglapag mo pala sa airport, hindi ka na ma-out of place kagad pag
Gusto ko
tinawid ka
naman
nila.
no magkwento kasama sa mga fellow candidates ko din, you know. I feel like I have to know at least a basic Spanish po to be able to hang out and like chill.
Sabi ni Mars France, in
Yeah.
fairness, with a little with a little time to prepare, na itatawid mo ang iyong Spanish.
Thank you for well, in in all honesty, I've known of Spanish since kindergarten, so it helps naman po to have been exposed, and our Tagalog language also has a lot of the same words. How we
Similarity,
sell
no?
time, anong oras na lang, alas 8, alas 9. We don't in the Philippines we always refer to Spanish time, so it's very helpful to.
So, from Mars France again, sino yung palagay niyang the candidates who you should look out for
Oh my
in the
goodness.
competition? Have you been
Dami
stalking them?
naman po. Oh my gosh, it's a great competition this year. And I'm so excited to meet up with, like, especially Miss Venezuela, who's a doctor. She's an orthodontist. And she's just so bubbly. She actually messaged me first po and like started to chat with me about like just excited naman to meet up. And I feeling ko it's like the vibe of the candidates are very friendly, even though super competitive, diba? Like, but it's friendly competition. So, yeah, I think she's number one for me. Kasi beauty and brains talaga.
True. Talagang
Mhm.
wow. Nag-research ka na nga daw talaga, sabi ni Mars France. So, as you think about it and as I realize it, you're competing very, very soon for this pageant for the first time. So I wonder, what do you think is the relevance of this pageant and the significance of having a Filipina representative
I think it's
in
important
this
for.
pageant?
Oh, absolutely. For me, talaga po, it shows how truly united we are, how much we have in common. Kasi po, if we look back far enough, the influences of Spanish colonialism that impacted the Philippines and impacted Latin America added to the flavor of our countries, and that we have so much more in common than we think. There was a pageant fan from, I think, from Latin America who commented on my post, basically about how isn't this for countries in America, like Latin American countries, and for people who speak Spanish? And I replied in Spanish, of course, but but it was, I basically, talked about how Filipinos, especially when you look at our history, we're basically the Latinos of Asia because we were the first successful Asian colony of Spain, really the only one. And it's important for us to remember and recognize our history. Our revolutionaries who fought for Filipino freedom all spoke and wrote in Spanish. And so it's important to, embrace that heritage and recognize where we stand in history. And I think it's beautiful that we stand somewhere internationally together and united and acknowledging our heritage po. So I think that's great for the Philippines and sa buong mundo for everyone to kind of reflect on history.
Alam mo, may kutob ako talaga. Alam mo, listening to you right now, you have this nice voice tone na
Oh,
pag
thank you.
pinakinggan mo, ang sarap-sarap pakinggan. Especially as early as now, I'm trying to visualize it. Once you say the same thing on stage, tapos may interpreter ka, di ba? Ay, would you be
Yes,
hiring an interpreter?
I
Di
am
ba?
going
So
to be
parang
having an interpreter.
So iniisip ko lang, baka mag-ala Win-Win Marquez ka doon talaga na parang alam mo
Yes.
yun, magpapasiklab ka na lang talaga
Actually,
or may mga pasabog kang baon na magugulat na lang kami.
yes, well, that's actually my game plan is like looking at Win-Win Marquez and her journey. Actually, she's one of my idols, po, like my role models. Her love for God, people, everything that she does, like holistically family, but also leading up to the competition, she really studied and she really prepared to do well. Like not just passerella or posing or fitness, it was like, how she interacted with the other candidates and the judges and the staff. Like it's important. It all counts.
Have you tried reaching out to her just for advice or anyone to connect you to her?
I haven't. I'm a little like I don't know, shy or I don't know. Parang ano naman. I follow her on Instagram and I'm just really inspired by her po.
And you know what? As I research more about you, yung mga sinalihan mo palang pageants, nanalo ka palang most of the time Miss Congeniality.
Yes. Actually,
Is it?
in fairness, true niyan po.
Why do you think
back to back to back to back.
So may personality ka talaga. Why do you think you always get that special award?
I think it's because I'm honest. I think it's because I don't try to be fake and I don't try to tell people what they want to hear. Especially yung mga first-timers sa pageantry, I try to be their ate. I try to be there for them and to let them know like, hey, like, especially in all fairness, this is kind of a downer, but the dark side of pageantry is that there are a lot of men who try to give us attention. And diba, it's so important to be an ate to talk to the younger generation to say, hey, like there's a kind way to say no, but you can be firm and be an empowered woman and make your wants and your desires known without stepping on other people's toes. So ayun lang po. I think it's people can sense that I genuinely care about you. I genuinely care.
I'm glad that you are playing that big sister to
Yeah.
all your pageant friends. So I wonder, since nanalo ka ng Miss Congeniality, who are you closest with? Any pageant sister that you are closest with, even up until now?
Oh, especially from actually, I was just FaceTiming her a few days ago, Erica Chu from when I competed in Miss Philippines Earth. And we trained together in Kagandahan, Flores. So KF sisters talaga and love her. And yeah, I always try to keep in touch with her and a couple of our other sisters just to I'm just so grateful naman po that you really do get put into a batch of phenomenal women who follow through and who follow up. So, and especially like Doc Addy, who's my roommate in Miss Universe Philippines, we keep in touch naman po. So, I super miss naman. I really miss the Philippines. And
Si Erica ba si Miss Rizal?
hindi naman po. Oh,
Ay, iba.
Miss Rizal too. I miss her too. Erica Evangelista. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, iba pa lang Erica yung nasa utak ko.
So Addy was
Oh,
Oriental Mindoro. So,
nag-compete ka rin pala sa Miss Philippines Earth. Ngayon ko lang, nga, no?
oh
So,
no, she didn't compete
2019?
in Miss Universe.
No,
Philippines.
you. At
yes.
Miss Philippines Earth.
Yeah,
You competed pala.
Muntinlupa.
Kasi you mentioned Erica from Miss Philippines. Ito nga pala,
Yeah.
no? I only kept remembering you from Miss Universe Philippines, but you also competed in Miss Philippines Earth back in 2019. And speaking of 2019, how do you feel yung kabatchmate mo si Celeste Cortesi?
Oh,
is in the
Celeste.
running
Yeah,
for the
Celeste was.
pageant.
Yeah, she
This,
is amazing. She wasn't my batchmate. She was the crowner of the successor, Janelle T, who's also amazing. I think she is definitely a strong candidate for the crown. We actually have the same fitness coach. So Coach Ice J, he also trains Celeste, and she's really sweet and kind. And I think for her, she has a really good chance of winning. Not just because super ganda naman face, but for Miss Earth, you have to be able to speak not only knowing what you know, but speaking with passion and conviction. And I think if she just holds on to those lessons of being able to talk about her advocacy and her stance on important issues, I think she is really, yeah, she definitely has what it takes.
I'm curious lang, are you keeping tabs of MUP this year?
Oh yeah, especially my sisters who are competing. So Lou, Pixon Lou, she's
Ooh, yeah,
recompeting,
she's
and I love
back.
her. Super mabait, and Miss Bohol, of course, Pauline, Amalings. I'm also cheering them on. Yeah,
What?
it's so those are the two I know, and we still nako po, our group chat with Sir Angel is still active. So our
Ay, that's
batches group
nice.
chat is still active on Facebook. So wish each other
So who
happy birthday.
knows
Yeah.
if you're successful with Miss Mesoamerica na soon next year, join ka ulit. Chos.
Achos! Oh my gosh.
Kaya pa, 'di ba? Kaya pa.
Yeah, pwede,
You're
pero
only
nako, like,
27 pa.
I really love Muntinlupa. I really love Muntinlupa, and I know I've represented her proudly on the national stage. And I really want to be a part of investing in Muntinlupa's pageantry scene. And kasi po, I was a little sad we didn't have a representative last year. I was like, sana, ano?
Ikaw
So
ulit.
oh, ako. No, and like I know that we sobrang matalino. Everyone there has heart. You look at our what I was most proud of about being a Muntinlupeña is my father and my mother built our home there together. My mother did the architecture for our house, and my father, oversaw the construction of it, and it's it's why Muntinlupa will always be a special place for our family. And I'm really excited po to see the pageantry scene continue to grow and who Muntinlupa will send next. I support her.
Hold that thought. Speaking of Muntinlupa, Mars France Moon has a question here. I think he's taking off from our previous topic about Miss Meso. Sabi niya, for you, how is Miss Mesoamerica different from any Latin-based pageant such as Reina Hispano?
I think it's it's different po kasi that Miss Reina Hispano-America had already been including the Philippines. I think it's only now that they've started to include a more international concept like Miss Reina Hispano-Americana. And I think it's a really great step in the right direction for inclusivity and for sharing of culture. So that's the major difference, I think, is that it used to be Miss Mesoamerica, yun lang. And then now it's become Miss Mesoamerica International. So it's international in its focus now. And I think that's the main difference.
Yeah. Mars France, I hope that she was able to answer your question. No, oo, no. Pero oo nga eh, basta alam ko rampahan yan. And alam mo, all these, I realize all these Latina pageants,
Mm.
these contestants who join these pageants use this as a springboard to
Mm.
compete for international pageants like Miss Universe. Ang daming graduates ng Reina Hispano nung Reina Hispano na sumali rin sa Miss Universe eventually, like si Curacao 2018, si Haiti 2016, who ended up as first runner-up here in Manila when we hosted the pageant 6 years ago. So, alam mo yon, so who knows talaga, this could really be a good opportunity for you to showcase yourself, di ba?
Oh, thank you. Maraming
So,
salamat po.
so, you have been competing all your life. Ang dami mo nang sinalihang pageant. So, as we look forward to your competition very soon, what makes you different this time around?
I think what makes me different this time around is my level of self confidence. I'm sure of myself, I'm sure of who I am, where I stand, what I believe in. And I'm also very sure of recognizing the amount of trust and belief that people have placed in me to be able to successfully represent the Philippines well at our first debut at Miss MESOAMERICA International. Yun naman po is that pressure is strong, but it can also be difficult.
Like what Chris Simbacher is saying, it's really a big deal for Maricres to represent our country in Miss Mesoamerica for the first time. So all eyes will be on her.
Yeah, and I hope, yes po Chris, I hope to represent us well. It's gonna be history. It's gonna be a big historical moment. Like, I was the first ever representative of Muntinlupa City at Miss Universe Philippines. It was an honor to do that, and now to be the first Filipina to step on the Miss Mesoamerica International stage. I want to make it a great debut for our country.
I wish your dad could see you right now, no?
Yeah,
Realizing
hopefully.
your dream. Kasi
Yeah.
as I was researching more about you, I came across with your video
Yeah.
singing, singing or grieving as you sang this beautiful song for your father. So,
Yeah.
how, ayoko naman tanungin kita ngayon, what's your
Oh
message to
yeah.
your
I
father now?
mean,
O ayoko kitang paiyakin. So,
yeah.
how did it seems like your father was a great influence in your life. So I wonder, how did he impact you?
I think it's because him, and of course with my mom too, but in particular my father is indigenous of the Akta Tabangnon tribe. He kept that bridge alive. And my grandmother also, she was the first doctora out of Sorsogon. And she went back and built the first hospital for our tribe in Pilar, Sorsogon. And I grew up volunteering and seeing the life there, and feeling connected to the earth and to our people and to the history of our nation, and recognizing my place in this. And it's like, I'm not just here by accident. Look at all the people, like my father, like my grandmother, like the people around me who've sacrificed, who've lived their lives to their fullest in order for me to be put here. I feel that weight, and I feel that responsibility. I feel um, that privilege, that honor to serve, that they've given me to serve our country as a representative. So I'm taking that with me, and I'm holding on to that, and I want to do my best.
So, buti na lang you mentioned your lola.
Mm.
Because your lola, it seems, or your lola, or you come from a very historical or prominent family, political figure
Oh yes, so
in
that was my
Mandaluyong.
grandmother on my mother's side. So my grandma's first cousin is the first female mayor of Quezon City. So yes,
First female mayor of
yes.
Quezon
So
City.
Lola Daling, Adalina Rodriguez, and she did amazing things for our people. She created the first ever law that allowed for indigenous people to access healthcare in Manila. I think that's a huge thing. And the fact that she was growing up, well, she was this loud, bombastic personality, and you always saw her with her hair done and her nails and everything, always placado. Yeah, she was someone who spoke, you know, spoke highly and spoke personable, and she was just someone who was so kind, but she also acted. She was also, I believe, governor of the Philippine Red Cross of Rizal at one point, especially during that time of World War II. So it's amazing to see that generation that she came from. It's incredible.
Wow, you come from a family of achievers
I
and
know.
public figures.
I
So who
know. I
knows?
watch them and I'm like, wow, and that's
So
why
who
I
knows?
just try to do the best I
Will we?
can and make them proud.
So will we see you running for public office in the near future? It's in the
Maybe.
genes.
Maybe. I just want to, be a part of something more than myself, and especially if there's an opportunity to run, I think it would be for something more local, something within Muntinlupa, something or within Sorsogon where I could be a part of making a difference for the community I know and I'm a part of.
But for now, kailangan manalo ka muna. Sabi ka dito ni Eman Molino, you know what? The reigning Reina del... You, galing neto ha. You know what? The reigning Reynaldo del Cafe winner is Melis Vasquez from Venezuela. Siya rin daw ang current title holder ng Miss Mesoamerica na. Wow, what a great
Wow.
trivia. So, siya daw ang magka-crown sa'yo very, very soon.
Oh my gosh,
Na-anticipate mo na ba yan? Bini-visualize mo na ba yan? So, diba?
Thank you po. Thank you, Evan.
Thank you for that wonderful trivia, Eman. O nga, nakalimutan ko no nabasa ko nga rin to recently. And then Mars Francis additional question. Sabi niya, are you still championing the same advocacy? Mars, can you please talk about it?
Siyempre po kasi I've been a long-time advocate of adoption in the Philippines because out of the over 2 million children who are abandoned in the Philippines, only 16,000 are registered to be adopted. Walang safety net. And that's why I've continued to partner with and support as a proud child sponsor for about $6 a month. I sponsor sweet little PJ. That's about 350 pesos a month po. That I get to make sure he gets food, that I make sure he gets water, and the love and care of Jesus. Because like the Tuloy Foundation, who has over 3,000 rescued street children, including providing scholarships and opportunities for indigenous children from Cagayan de Oro. And I also wanted to give a shout out to the Tayo La Liga Marikina, who also partner with Merit Excel Children's Home. They provide food, clothing, and shelter to over 30 children who are under 2 years old po. And sobrang cute naman. Sorry, I don't want to cry when I talk about this, but one of the children I met passed away in 2020 po. Her name was Emerald, and I loved meeting her because her name reminded me of the Emerald City, Muntinlupa City, and Seattle, where I was born, is also the Emerald City, talaga po. But she unfortunately passed away from health complications. She was left in a garbage can, and they rescued her, but unfortunately she still passed away. And Chosen Children's Village also continues to find children who are abandoned in that manner. And I just want to encourage anyone who may be watching this that, you know, you are not alone. God has a plan for you, and there's another way. Please, reach out to local churches. People are actually a little less judgmental than you think when you're reaching out to them for assistance. I think it's just our sense of pride, po, that can sometimes get in the way, and fear. But what does it say in the Bible? That there is no fear in love. And if we accept love, God is love, then we should have no reason to fear judgment. And please reach out for help. The Tuloy Foundation has services in Manila. So Marikina. Sorry. So the Tuloy Foundation is in Muntinlupa City, and Marikina has Tayo La Liga Marikina has all those services as well for children, and definitely check them out. I also wanted to shout out to Wayfarers PH for their work with fish farmers, like our own tribe in Pilar Sorsogon, who are mostly fish farmers, and they teach sustainable fishery. And thank you so much, Bo, for that opportunity to talk about my advocacy, along with wearing my advocacy sustainable fashion too. So it's important to take care of our Mother Earth, as well as, you know, taking care of the children of our Earth too.
I'm glad that you're using this platform to advocate for your numerous advocacies. Yeah, you're more than showcasing your beauty here in Miss Mesoamerica. For sure, once you share the same story to the judges over there in El Salvador, you'll be able to capture your hearts. I'm really glad that well accomplished women like you are really proactive in using this platform for the good. Na you're making us think that this pageant is not just about, just mere physical, but also a venue for people to help one another. So I'm just
Yeah.
amazed na at 27 years old, talagang
Yep.
you really know, you already know what you want in life. You already have a direction, and you're so confident to the point now you even want to help the people around you for a change. So I wonder, you know what, Y- your example, your case is such a stark contrast to what happened to Chesley Christ uh, earlier this month. We were really shocked by what happened to her, by her untimely demise. And as a doctor, as a future
Richard.
doctor, and a molecular biologist by profession, how do you think beauty queens like you can take care of their mental health, especially at this time of social media?
I think it, for me as a woman of Christ, as someone who meditates on the Bible, it's by understanding my worth. My worth doesn't come from a crown. My worth doesn't come from a title. My worthiness of love doesn't come from what other people think of me or how old I am or where I'm going or my profession. My worthiness comes like from even an abandoned child. For the same thing, we're both. I'm not an abandoned child, but like we're both beloved by God. We're both worthy, and recognizing that we're both equal in the eyes of God. It motivates me to not measure my worth or compare myself to other people or compare myself to someone younger than me or compare myself to what other people think of me. And that's like a good like mental health check for me, is to meditate on the word of God and to focus on what lasts forever, that's eternal, instead of something like physical beauty that it's beautiful, but then, like, we all get old and there's nothing wrong with that. There's the beauty of character, there's the beauty of your spirit, there's the beauty of your soul that's eternal, and that's something that we should also be investing in as much as the beauty of the face and body.
True. Pero alam mo, kasi up until now, you know what, I'm still disturbed, or it still haunts me,
Yeah.
the article that she wrote for Allure magazine
Oh
last
yeah.
year, where she talked about her anxieties of turning 30. Out, actually, ito yung, I listed it down, so just for you to hear it out. Because she says there, each time, kasi ikaw, you're 27, you're turning 30 in 3 years, and you seem to be full of life. You're so very looking forward of the future, of what the future awaits you. Siya parang there's this fear of growing old. And if I will quote her on her article, she said, each time I say I'm turning 30, I cringe a little. Sometimes I can successfully mask this uncomfortable response with excitement. Other times, my enthusiasm feels hollow, like bad acting. Society has never been kind to those growing old, especially women, right? Occasional exceptions are made for some of the rich and a few of the famous. So, a grinning, crinkly eyed glance at my achievements thus far makes my giddy about laying the groundwork for more. But turning 30 feels like a cold reminder that I'm running out of time to matter in society's eyes. And it's really
Wow.
infuriating. So when you read these lines, um, bakit ganun? May mga taong I don't know if it's just cultural, considering you both are women, you both are accomplished women. Why do you think girls like her feel less valuable in our society, despite her achievements, despite what she had done in the past?
I think it really is because of how we prize beauty. In a way, we're always trying to look younger. We're always trying to look, we say like, oh, you're getting wrinkles, get Botox. You're getting all this, change it. it's like we're so afraid of accepting who we are and the beauty that comes with being human. You know, it's like we're trying to hold women to a standard that is unattainable. Like, you're gonna look like this for 30 years from now. Yeah, and like, I also like to put into perspective for my friends who are feeling that way, or even for myself when I start to think that way. It's like, I would never go up to my grandmother who's turning 98 this year and tell her I feel old, you know. um, it's it just it's just so heartbreaking, Paul, because um, not only was she an accomplished lawyer, not only was she an incredible motivational speaker, beautiful, well versed in the world and cultured and able to hold conversations with people from any walk of life. She was a light and a joy. And it's so heartbreaking that she's gone because she felt like she wasn't enough. Um, it's heartbreaking because our society perpetuates that. We perpetuate that by continuing to drag women down by a number that we can't reverse. And I feel like if only we could start a movement, especially after what she'd been through, to say embracing, you know, your beauty at any age. You know, like embracing your worth, that age is just a number, and we all just have one life to live. So it's important for me personally to just continue to focus on what matters most and what's going to be eternal, and not the fleeting thing like beauty or what society deems worthy. It's, for me, it comes from what it says in the Bible. And um, it says that I was already beautifully and created, beautifully and fearfully made in the womb of my mother by a God who saw everything in me. And right down, as a molecular biology nerd, working as a scientist in a lab, knowing knowing that each and every bond on the molecular level, God made that happen with love and intention for who you are. Like, the standards of the world kind of melt away when you think about those, how beautiful and unique you already are. And I think, you know, for social media at least, like, it's good. I encourage everyone to do this, to take a break from social media, to, like, even if it's just like an intentional hour or a day out of the week or out of the month where you detox and let it go, because all of that is just online. It's not real life. Diba po? It's all Photoshop, or it's all this other stuff. It's all hype. But who you are, your character as a woman, as a person who is making a difference in the world, that is real. That is tangible. And that's something that makes what you are already worthy even more amazing, is what you do outside of the public eye, or what you do offline. So I just want to encourage everyone who's listening to this that don't get caught up so much in what other people are doing online. It's just online. So, and not to compare too much, because God made you uniquely you, down to the molecular level, and it's beautiful, and you're already worthy of love as you are.
Oh, beautiful words. I wish she had the same strong support system as you are having right now. You know, there are so many beautiful things that I am picking up from what you just said. And yun nga eh, we put our society tends to put so much premium on beauty, that it pressures women like you to really conform, to really live up to society's or to the standard or expectation. So I wonder, would you also say the same thing um, for pageants to finally remove the age limit for competitions? Because right now the limit is, I believe, 28, 29. So do you think, for women like Chesley not to worry about this, for women who are also thinking like Chelsea, na parang who are deemed invaluable because of that age, because of that number, do you think for a pageant contestant naman here in our industry, do you think it's about time that these organizations remove the age ceiling? just like what Miss France did, that they can already
Yeah, yeah.
accommodate
I also
married women to
wonder.
join.
Yeah, I also wonder about that too because, I look at like my boyfriend's pageant that's coming up. Um, I think the age limit is like 33 or something like that. Like, he's still pretty young, so now we're close to that. But I look at like kind of like the leeway we give men, especially in beauty
Yes.
pageants, and I feel like it's kind of unfair that they just have to look a certain age, but we have to be a certain age in order to compete. And I think that's uh, you know, a double standard. Like if men can continue to compete in pageantry up to their late or mid 30s, why not women in this competitive scene? So it just I know the pros and cons of it are like you want to have something to look forward to afterwards, but especially as someone who has competed in pageantry for the past 3 years, like it's become like a lifestyle. It's like where you're just learning how to become the best version of yourself. It's great networking, and you also get to don something bigger than yourself when you compete internationally, and it's a great growing experience. Like athletics, you don't tell an Olympic athlete, oh, you're too old, even though you're competing at your prime, like you should give up. um, so I feel like if you can still perform at that level, why not? You know?
Exactly. So I wish, no. Oo nga eh. So do you think this is just an offshoot or an end result of our never growing gender inequality problem pervading in
Yeah,
our world right now?
yeah. I think it's um, gender is always going to be brought into question, especially in our world that was built without women in mind. Like what Zoe Tunzi said, like we really have to take up space and cement ourselves in a society that didn't make space for us to begin with. We have to make that space, and we have to flourish in that space. So, para sa akin po, it's important for women to advocate for that change. I think that would be amazing if we could lift that and like recognize a woman's worthiness of a title, not just by a number.
Speaking of space, we're down to my last few questions.
Okay.
Speaking of space, what do you think about the relevance of pageants like Miss Mesoamericana being staged at this time of war and conflict in Europe?
I think it's still really relevant because we have like I believe like Miss Poland is coming, and Poland has been one of those places that's been receiving refugees, and I
Refugees.
think it's important for us to recognize that it's also part of soft diplomacy. This is a way for us to communicate across different nations. Sending a representative is a way for us to build friendships and memories and stories together. I can't name how many images of Miss Universe Russia and Miss Universe Ukraine interacting that are going viral right now, or from different pageants even. And um, it's important for those opportunities to exist to make those international connections, with or without conflict going on in the world, because it's a reference point for peace, for friendship in the
Yeah,
future.
I agree with you. But why do you think, I just want to ask your opinion, why do you think there
Yeah.
is so much conflict in the world right now? I used to think world peace is just,
Ah,
a word that is usually being replied in every Q&A, na gas, world peace. But now, if you think about it, it really holds true with what we're going through right now. So do you think
yeah.
we could really still achieve world peace?
I think I want to preface my answer by saying, the conflict happening in the world is not just a physical conflict. I feel like it's also a spiritual conflict that we are, reflecting on, especially in my experience in Miss Philippines Earth, that God created the earth to be able to meet every man's need, but not every man's greed. And although we've had so many modern advancements in technology and ways to talk, still we're resorting to these barbaric forms of land wars because of greed. And I want that to be kind of the backdrop for my answer is that in order for us to really achieve peace, we have to focus on growing our hearts and our spirits beyond what's in this world, beyond what material or resources that a country may have, but look at the resources of our people. Look at the resources of the air we breathe and the water we drink that is becoming polluted by fears of nuclear war. And it's damaging not only for our sense of peace, but for it's traumatizing our world's children. You know, it's traumatizing for you and for me, the threat of a nuclear war. Last night we had our peace gathering to pray for Ukraine and for Russia, for Ukraine to be able to be successful in defending their sovereignty, but also for Russia, specifically President Vladimir Putin. We're praying that his heart of stone.
Was softened.
Yeah, just I pray that God melts that and that he sees the devastation he's bringing on to innocent people and stops this. Because no amount of money is going to bring back that life. I've seen images of pregnant women hiding in bomb shelters, of neonatal intensive units, a baby being born and then rushed to the bottom of a bomb shelter because of it's the fact that this still exists. It just shows a truly broken part of our world that is hungry for something that it cannot be satisfied by things of this world. Like it cannot be we can't. What Putin is looking for will not be satisfied just by obtaining Ukraine. It will not just. It's just the beginning of more and more and more of wanting more and more and more. And until we become satisfied for me at least, how I believe it, satisfied in the Word of God, to feel that we have enough, that God has supplied us with enough, that we have more than enough, that we can share, that we can outpour, that we can be there for other people and be a resource instead of having our resources taken. it's until we address the heart of the issue, which is greed, which is selfishness, which is fear. I don't think we will be able to truly achieve a sustainable peace without having real talk about what's causing it in the first place, and that's greed. Unfortunately, it's men who are leading these countries, but we've seen with the pandemic response in particular, I love to, shout out to New Zealand and Taiwan and, all these female-led countries who are doing an incredible job of leading their communities with compassion, their countries with compassion, in a sense of shared resources and sharing and caring for one another. I know that sounds corny, but I believe that's how we achieve peace.
I now get it. I really now get it. Why pageants like Miss Mesoamerica, Miss Universe Philippines, Miss Philippines Earth exist. Yeah, to give a platform or a breeding ground for empowered and well-accomplished women like you to improve the lives of their communities in their small little ways. And eventually, once you get older, you amass a bigger following, you develop a bigger voice, you know, eventually magti-trickle down yan into little domino effects that will somehow impact the way we live and run our country, our society in general.
Amen po. Yeah.
Amen. Maricres, wow, I can't believe we just talked for an hour. And as much as I want to talk to you longer, well, I have to end this now. So,
Thank you for
as my last question, given given with all these beautiful words and encouragement that came out of your mouth, what do you still intend to accomplish or to achieve with your candidacy here in Miss Mesoamericana?
Thank you so much for that question, po. Kasi I think it goes back to recognizing our history. I think it's beautiful for us to recognize that there's a Filipino-American Friendship Day, but we also have Spanish roots. And I'm excited to continue to accomplish promoting recognizing of that history, of of the writings by our leaders, and also a sense that we can pursue our dreams even in the midst of conflict. Even in the midst of what's going on in the world, do not be afraid to search your soul and to pursue fearlessly what God made you to do here on this earth. So, thank you, po.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Before we end this, may pahabol na question si Eman Molino. Speaking of
Okay.
promoting our culture and history, oh, we dodged on this earlier, so siguro ngayon lang siya nanood. So he's asking you, Maricres is a force to rec. Oh, sorry. Um, where's that question? Adam, Sir Adam, kamusta naman kaya ang magiging pasabog OOTDs niya, long gown and national costume niya? We're so excited to see na rin po. Alam ko, aariba tayo sa Miss America na 2022. Super lakas ng laban ni Maricres. We will see na naman Venezuela sa top 2
Wow.
for crowning moment.
Thank you.
So like what you say, like from what I heard from you, a lot of Filipino designers, you'll be wearing Filipiniana made outfits for the
Yes,
competition.
I
Yeah.
will.
So ito, one of the let me just recap lang. So this is the designer. No, this is just a model, but the fabric or the outfit that she's wearing here on this photo will be the ones that you will be wearing for the upcoming competition. Her name is Silveri. What's her name again?
Yes, her name's Silviana Couture. And the model there is a Filipino American, also Tyra. She won Slay Model Search LA, she's amazing. She's also based in Seattle and a nurse. And grabe naman po, we are a part of American culture here too. Filipino Americans are making their space known. So I'm proud to be wearing Silviana Couture right now, even made out of pineapple and banana fibers, hand woven in the Philippines. And I'm wearing a corset that you can't see that's made by Sir Nel Claveri Couture in Parañaque and Jason Kwaiki. So I'm very excited to be showcasing Filipino excellence on the international stage in our designs.
So, sino naman gagawa ng national costume mo tsaka long gown? Are you allowed to reveal it, diba, as early as now?
Oh, so...
Or will we have to wait for it?
Yes, we'll have to wait. But I also wanted to give a quick shout out to Dr. Demondon of Concordia Medical Aesthetics for taking care of my skin. It's glowing because I actually just came from a skincare treatment, and she also gave me some medical grade makeup. So she's amazing. So definitely worth supporting her naman din. She's a graduate of University of Santo Tomas and is voted 5 times best doctor in the South Sound of Tacoma.
Miss Philippines Backstage is actually watching us. Siya pala si Chris. Chris
Oh,
and
hi!
Backer. Maricres is really a force to reckon with. She really works hard and goes out to make the Filipino-American community visible here in Washington State so well. Natcom, donation drives, Philcom Saya, please run for office. Sabi niya.
Thank you.
So on that note, maraming salamat again for allowing me to interview here. It's really my honor to really get to know you finally for 2 years.
You.
After 2 years, nahuli na rin kita and buti na lang.
Thank you so much, po.
For your most important competition to date. So, yeah, and I also want to thank Mr. Giuseppe Rojas of Authority Productions for making this interview possible. Maraming salamat po, Sir Giuseppe. And with that, ano pa ba? If there's one thing that we learned from Maricres right now is that we have to learn to embrace our beauty at any age. So with that, good luck on your upcoming competition. Meron bang online, would you know kung may online voting or may mga pasabog or announcement ang Miss MESOAMERICA para masuportahan ka namin, masubaybayan namin? Do they have social media sites where we can really follow your journey there? Yeah. Please take the floor in promoting your upcoming
Please please, kababayan, pay close attention. Excuse me. So excited. Pay close attention to the announcements on their Instagram page. Because I also don't know. We're on standby and we are waiting and we are ready to compete. So I would love your support in online voting whenever that opens. They have their Facebook page, Miss MESOAMERICA International, and their Instagram. So I'm also watching closely, and please also support me by following me on Instagram at Maricres Castro and my journey. And I would love your prayer and support in that way. So thank you so much, Sir Adam, for this opportunity, and for everyone who's believed in me along this way. Maraming salamat po. Hope to
You're
make you proud.
welcome. I'm so happy to use my platform in highlighting girls like you to really shine brighter on the international stage. So there you have it again. Maraming salamat. Good night over there, Miss
Bye.
Maricres.
Good
And good
afternoon
luck.
over there. Thank you. Bye,
Good
po.
luck. Virtual hugs and kisses all the way here from my office here in Manila. Mwah.
I feel it. I feel it. Thank you. Thank you.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.